You are listening to a Reverie original podcast. Please download the Reverie app to get the best in queer film, TV series, music, and podcasts. Stream out loud.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Podcast of Color, where four trash bags of color come together to make sense of the world. I'm Rakeem, and I am Beyonce's pink Coachella vest. Who are y'all?
I'm Baze. And oof. Oh, okay. I'm Baze and what?
You said whew, and I was like, yes, Beyonce, wig.
I yesterday was leg day, so I'm gonna say crack strong enough to cause an epidemic.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Can you go into detail about that?
Strack. Crack strong enough to destabilize whole communities.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
You could bounce a quarter off of it.
Good for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm proud.
Thank
Sis,
you.
I'm proud.
Thank
Who
you.
are you?
Thank
you.
Since Rakeem is Beyonce's pink vest, I am Ariana Grande coming on weekend 2, surprising everybody with No Tears Left to Cry.
And her lower ponytail.
And her lower ponytail, I'm living!
Evolution. We stand
Yes.
evolution.
We stand growth.
We stand Inception videos and falling through and having no tears left to cry because we're moving on and men are trash.
Yes.
But we still need-
I'm Renee, and I'm Azealia Banks' Anna Wintour wig.
Oh my god! And so that's this
That
episode
bob.
of Podcast of Color.
That beautiful bob. That's me.
The bob is a bop.
We also have. Oh, I need to let my headphones down. There we go. My head is so big. Okay, we also have a guest this week, and I'm very, 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 very excited to have this person on. I have been on their podcast twice now, so I'm very happy to introduce my very talented and very amazing and funny friend, Mr. DJ Kirkland.
Hi! Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Of course,
Thank
we're so
you.
happy to have you.
I'm excited, and I am Beyonce's majorette boots from week 1 from Coachella, because those were everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, those boots were
So-
fucking.
They were
You're
everything.
team yellow? Are you
No,
team
no,
yellow or
I'm team.
pink?
I'm team pink. She fucked me up with the hot pink. I'm like, God damn it, Beyonce.
Really, I think the yellow kind of took my edges off. I just.
I mean, we look amazing in yellow, so there's obviously that. But like, a hot pink is like, it just does something to me. I love that color so much.
True. Also, DJ's black. That's why he said
Yep.
that. Yeah. He's like,
We as in.
as in the Negroes on the show. Those with Negro noses and Jackson 5 nostrils. That's who he's talking about. But anyway, what is the question of color this week?
The question of color this week is, if someone made a call-out post about you on Tumblr, what would it be for? And you can either say your own, or like other people could volunteer ideas for you.
Okay. Oh, wait, before we do that, DJ, maybe you should like introduce yourself. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
Like, talk
it's okay.
about, like,
Yeah,
what you do.
Accolades,
Sure, no
accolades.
problem. My name is DJ. I am the founder and co-host of the podcast Magical Boys, where we are a queer podcast that's focused on pop culture, video games,
Yes.
anime, and manga from a queer perspective, because everybody knows that's super big into video games and all that stuff, that there are very few people of color, let alone gay ones, in that space. So me and my good friend Ruben, who is based out of Atlanta, we made a show together, and we just talk about video games, and it's a mess, and we love it. We've been doing it for a little bit now, so that's what I do. And I'm also a comic book artist, and I'm working on a book right now for Oni Press, which is called The Black Mage. And a little short summary of it is just imagine if Harry Potter. What?
That's the discourse.
Is that- oh, never mind. I will shut up about that.
Shut the fuck up. Okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, I'm so excited to have you on. I'm like so giddy right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so Renee, so the question was, what would you get called out for Tumblr? So I want to start with Baze.
Oh,
Why me?
I'm just curious.
what would you think, Rakeem? What would you volunteer for Baze? What do you think he deserves? to
Oh,
be dragged
y'all
for?
are asking for me. Okay.
No. I'm not saying that I
We
would.
can though. So
I don't have anything for Baze. I'm just curious to see what y'all think Baze would get called out for. Because I feel like Baze is probably like the least problematic of us.
being a
No,
Gemini,
that's Renee.
that's not true.
Well, I mean, he does stand as a so
We're not at me yet. We're not at me
Yeah.
yet. We're on Baze.
okay, Baze.
Wait, okay. Wait, am I telling for myself or are you guys?
Yeah.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
speaking your own
What
truth,
do you think
beloved.
we-
Or us, either one.
I mean, I've actually gotten dragged. Should I just say that? Because I can't really think of anything that I would get dragged for. Because I try to be pretty aware, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not going to be funny. I actually deserve to get dragged for it. So,
Wait.
Maybe just
there
kidding.
was, huh?
Oh, go ahead. Go.
There was this guy. So, there was this guy getting. He had a pink "Born This Way" tattoo on his back. And
Is that me?
Huh?
I'm kidding.
Why are you talking
So
about
was
John
that
on the
me?
show like that?
He was white. He had a pink "Born This Way" tattoo, and there was like this. There was like it was like one of those like pausing pictures. Like the guy was like, if you don't know what pausing is, it's when one guy who's HIV positive like purposely like gives the other guy HIV.
Oh,
and
this
like they're
took a
both.
way
It's something
different
they
turn
both.
than-
Okay.
Well, look, listen. This is all. Look, and so one guy was like dragging the guy for having the pink "Born This Way" tattoo, and I like I was feeling the joke a little bit, feeling it a little bit too much, and I jumped in and I was like, why? Like, yeah, why would you even like purposely let somebody infect you with HIV? And yeah, and so then I got dragged for that.
Can I ask what was the answer to that question? Is that
I didn't have an answer. I just apologized because I didn't realize that it was problematic at the time. But then, clearly
We
it
stand
was
grow.
offensive
When you
to
said
people,
pause-
so.
When you said pausing, I thought like Lady Gaga pause, like they're pausing. Pause
You're
up.
so innocent, John.
the little
Sometimes.
monster jumped out?
You know what cracks me up?
That
This
is
is
a
the
way
one time.
different take.
This is the one time I was talking about sex, and John didn't immediately relate it to sex.
Oh, I know.
Well,
Ooh.
wow.
I was
Growth.
trying to
We
get
stand
in
growth.
the,
Girl, I don't know if it's growth as much as it's actually never mind.
I was getting in the monster mindset,
Okay, somebody else go.
Little monster mindset means to go on the internet and call her black fans. Never mind. But anyway, keep going.
Oh, who is it? Your turn now?
Oh,
I think it should be you.
I
Okay,
would.
so-
Here, I'll
okay.
just. Oh, go, sorry.
since John has so much to fucking say,
What?
go off. What would I be
No.
called out for?
I don't know. What do you think people would call you out for?
King shaming, maybe. like,
But you've actually been called out for that.
but okay. This is no.
By the Renadiators of all.
I'm trying-
No, I know. I was about to say.
I
the
was
big
really
thing
hoping
is-
that this question would be funny, and it's just not going the way. I was-
Well, here's the gag. I don't care. So
This is
it's
what
like-
happens when a dark bitch tries to be funny.
Wait a minute.
I mean, like,
No, I'm talking about
What did you
Renee.
mean by-
I don't mean like.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like,
I
I was like, wait. I was like, so that's what we're gonna call you out for? Saying dark skinned people can't be funny, bitch. Like, what about Kevin Hart? No, I think probably king shaming would be the thing I get called out for. But again, depending on what it is, like we've already had this conversation, like on previous episodes. So, but
no.
would you agree with that, John?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
All right.
DJ, would you agree with that?
Can I plead the fifth?
Ooh, ooh,
Wait, DJ, you don't have to tell your link, but do you have a Tumblr, and what would people drag you out for?
Oh god, I barely even use it anymore, but I
Same.
definitely got dragged for this in like 2011. Because I primarily posted a lot of art on my Tumblr.
Yeah, she made sure to say the year. She was like, "This is all the way back."
Yeah,
in
this is
2011."
way. It was way back.
DJ can't come to the phone
Just for the
right now.
record.
This is for the record. Let me just set it straight real quick. So like in 2011, like I didn't draw a whole lot of characters of color. So I remember somebody went into my DMs on Tumblr. They were like, "Where are all the black people? You're black. Why don't you draw black characters?" And I'm like, "What?" And I was like, "Well." She's not wrong, so drag me will fuck my art though, right? But I didn't have anything to say because it was I didn't at the time, and that has since changed. But
Yeah, because that was 2011.
Yeah, and that was 2011 me, not 2018 me.
We don't know her.
That's
We
anymore.
don't know her anymore.
We were all
don't.
self-hating at that time.
It was yikes.
Oh.
Who is we? Bitch, you speaking French?
Don't you want to? Wee, bitch.
Because
Don't you want
me, I'm not included in that we.
Oh, well, whatever. Some of
Shit.
us weren't privileged enough to be pro-black or
Oh,
pro-life.
privilege. Oh, I'm sorry. Being pro-black is a privilege now. Sucking white dick and being all over the white man. That's
So anyway,
that is for the underprivileged.
Girl.
We're gonna
So do
move
we find the
on.
drag? Do we find the drag?
Hold on. Oh, bitch, if we want to go there, we can go there.
Can we go there? Check my
Oh,
check
I'm
my
gonna go
record.
next.
So for me, I feel like Azealia Banks. I would
Yeah.
be dragged for that. And my music taste in general, I think would get dragged. Yeah.
It's not that it's problematic. It's just like it's
To be
interesting.
fair, and y'all already know that I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But I don't think Azealia Banks deserves as much hate as like the other artists out there that don't really get very much hate, and there are reasons for that. But anyway,
I just think other people deserve the hate more.
there you go. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Like, we're gonna stand this white girl that won't come out and say, I actually don't like my KKK fans. But
Who's we?
we're not.
Ooh,
but-
say it.
wow.
no. I'm
we?
just saying in general.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
general.
bitch, let's
In
not get
general.
twisted.
But
Okay,
but someone
Duolingo.
like
A little Duolingo for that ass. A bitch is 49% fluent, bitch.
Say 49% in Spanish.
I can't, bitch. I'm Duolingo fluent, bitch.
But yeah, my music taste and also my hate against Libras. I think I'd be dragged for that too.
I just found out that I'm a Libra moon.
Who has a Libra moon?
Me. I just found that out. And I'm a Capricorn rising.
Oof, that makes so much sense.
Does it? Oh.
No, I'm joking.
Bitch,
I'm joking.
I'm telling you, I hate people who do signs because they'd be like, oh.
Sean was making fun of me the other day because he was like, every time you meet somebody, you like guess their signs like 4 times, and then as soon as they say the right sign the 5th time, you're like, oh, that makes so much sense. I was gonna say that. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Because people be like, I didn't text you back because my because my moon's in Virgo, and I'm just like, no, you're an asshole. Like that's why you didn't do it. Just, I don't know. But wait, DJ, what sign are you?
I'm Aquarius, and I have a coworker that's like super into astrology and all that shit. And so she, when I first started at that job, she was like, "What's your sign?" And I was like, "Aquarius." And she's like, "I see that for you. I get that vibe from you." And I'm like, "Bitch, like you don't even know me."
DJ, I'm an Aquarius too.
Yes, Aquarius hunties.
Yeah, yay, hunting. So last episode we had 2 Geminis. Today we have 2 Aquarii.
Yes.
No, last week we had 8 people on because we had so many Geminis. But it's okay, y'all.
And you know what? We could always use more.
And since DJ and I have that in common, I was going to say that if someone were to drag me, it'd also be something similar to DJ's. Like back in the day, I think in like 2000, I've had my thing for like almost 10 years. So like 2008, I was going through the bear phase. and so a lot of my reblogging would be like of like white muscly bears. And so if someone were to drag me, it's almost the same thing.
Yikes, drag me. It's same.
I was dragging myself. I was like, wait, my
2012 though?
2008? Excuse me?
Oh, sorry. 2008.
Well,
2008? A full decade.
You're right.
You say a full decade?
A full decade?
Okay, so, we're going to move on to the minutes of, we're going to move on to the minutes of color. And we will see y'all there. Decade. A full decade ago.
Down. Are you ready for it?
Wait, what is that?
Oh no!
I
the
thought
devil's
it was Shania
what
Twain.
it is.
Oh, girl.
Oh, R.I.P.
Yikes!
Come on, girls.
Wait, why did you say
I
R.I.P.?
feel like a woman. Dun, dun, na, 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 na. Trump. So
Yikes! No.
the issue here is Shania Twain, my sweet summer child, one of the few white ladies that of country music that I cared for. She has disappointed us, and she has said that if she was an American, that she regrets that she was not an American, so that she couldn't, because she was not able to vote for Trump.
What?
This actually cracked me up because I'm gonna be in LA next month, and I'm like thinking of all kinds of like things that we can do, like concepts for like videos and shoots and stuff that we can do for the podcast. And I had just suggested to Rakeem like lip syncing "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" literally the day before this came out, and then the following day she went and said this. I was like, you know what?
That was the Lord being like, no.
That was the Lord. He was like, this is not the
so
path
weird.
that you want to travel down.
I know you guys don't watch the show, but she was just the most recent guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race.
We do watch the show.
Oh, well, no, Baze doesn't.
She also sounded like she didn't want to be there at all. Like, when Cameron Michaels was like, oh, like, you've been my inspiration for so long. She said,
she was
okay.
like, okay.
And she said, no, you're supposed to go backstage now, bitch. I just get a text from Baze, and he was just like, welp. And I was like, well, damn. But, okay, let's be real, though. Are we really surprised that a white woman in country said that she voted for Trump?
Not at all. I expect this of all of them. I'm just ready
all.
for Carrie Underwood to come out and say her little piece.
I'm more surprised that she's Canadian. That's what I'm surprised.
That did shake me. That shook the table. That was the real...
The gag.
That was the real gag, yeah.
Her and Kanye just out here trying to...
Ooh.
Man.
We'll touch on that. But I mean, I guess there's really not a whole lot to say about it. It's just, she had a bop that I liked. It was one bop. I'm not really super familiar with any of her other music. At the end of the day, we all expect that these Southern folks, these Southern country music people are going to be, pretty conservative. And you know what? I liked Faith Hill better anyway, bitch.
Well,
so that's
T, bitch.
Let's break it up a little bit, and I just wanted to mention that I was reading this story on InstinctMagazine.com about Mr. Topher DiMaggio. Apparently, homegirl is still booked and paid. She was accused, I'll use proper pronouns. He was accused of rape by 5 different men. 2 of them are one of this porn performer Tegan Zane, and another one is a YouTube personality named Brian Hahn. And then three anonymous men have come forward. And he was booked for Arizona Pride at a nightclub called Paris. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of speaks to the willingness to allow white gay guys that like have a certain look to kind of get away with anything. And it just is a reminder that, like, obviously I'm not going to say like all these guys are garbage, but a lot of them are just horrible people, and it doesn't really seem to matter because, well, they're hot. And it's just like,
Right.
for me, it's just like, it's not even, like, that's not even, my thing is, like, anybody can have abs. Like, anybody. Like, it's not even like a, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like some great accomplishment. Like, it's something that, like, a good chunk of people can have the ability to accomplish. Not everybody can accomplish it, but a good chunk of people can accomplish it. Being, you know, having, like, he's not even that handsome. Like, it's just, I don't know. To me, it's just like, it's just crazy, the willingness to forgive anything. Like, I've seen, like, people, like, you know, thirsting after child molesters and murderers because, you know, they're hot. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just to me, it just doesn't make sense because there are so many people that have that look. Like, I could go on Instagram, I can go on Twitter, I can go on Tumblr, I can go outside, go to West Hollywood on Santa Monica Boulevard, I can go to fucking Rebar down in Lower Manhattan. Like, there's, like, you can
Not
go
Rebar.
Yes, girl, Rebar.
I had forgotten about her.
I haven't. I keep getting invited.
He won't let it go.
I won't. As long as people keep inviting me to that location, I will not be forgetting. Anyway, you know, this is not, it's just not like, it's not a rare find. Like, you can literally go outside and there's like 10 of these guys. It doesn't make sense to me that people are willing to, like, forgive all of this bullshit just because the guy looks a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of on Twitter this past week. I saw there was this thing about Starbucks where there was like this really attractive barista behind the desk, and I saw a lot of people post this thing that was like, oh well, it was like, oh, like if I walked into Starbucks and saw him, then like I want to boycott it. And it's like I get the joke.
Yikes.
But it's like, to me, that's so indicative of like the issue, because it's literally just because someone is to you like attractive, you will literally bypass and like willfully ignore all of this other shit that they do. And I think that that's such a, like, that to me that pisses me off more than anything, because it's just like, you give these people so much and it's just like,
it doesn't, I mean, we've seen it with Chris Brown, we've seen it with that guy who got out of prison and is now like the baby daddy of Top Shop.
Oh yeah, Prison Bay.
It's like it happens over
Prison
and
Bay.
over, and people are just stigmatized, you know.
you sounded,
Well,
John
I
was like, yeah, I am.
So what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that, like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this is something that a lot of us also have like personal experience with, where like maybe you're dealing with a lot more bullshit from somebody in like a relationship or like sexual relationship, whatever.
Wow, Renee's dragging my Tumblr right now.
Then you should be. I'm dragging myself.
Mine too.
I'm actually, let me not talk about my current situation right now, but I'm dragging my own experience and saying like, this is, if like we do it in just our day-to-day lives with like the people that we care about, or you know, that we think that there's like something special there, but really it's just like, you know, we do it ourselves. We fall for these ideas of like these conventionally attractive people, and then we're like surprised when they act like assholes, but they've been basically served their whole lives like whatever they've asked for. So it's just like, and that's not every single one of them, right? But like still, like it's just like,
right.
It's, well, we do this too. Like it's not.
Yeah.
Or I'll use I statements.
No. I mean, I think we all do that. Like, that wasn't wrong. I wasn't about to disagree with you. I was just gonna add. I think another aspect of this is that he's very popular, and I think he has like something like 500,000 followers on Instagram. And so like that is part of it too. Is just the whole like, well, you know, if they have a bunch of Instagram followers, again, let's just put up with whatever they're dealing with or whatever they're putting out, because. Again, you know, popularity and attractiveness is what, you know, is most important and supersedes everything else.
And he's only popular because he's attractive. Like that's it. Like he doesn't.
Well, yes, exactly. True.
So.
But I mean, I think that like is obviously a key point. Like I think that if he had like 20,000 followers, I don't think he would be getting the chances that he's getting.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, fuck him and just fuck this whole industry for like rewarding that. What happened?
I'm a little surprised because like the people who come forward are like other white gays, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would think that people would give that more credence, but
right. But oh well.
Yeah. He's honestly not that cute. I'm looking at it right now. He looks like
his face looks plastic. Like it looks. I mean,
that's
like a lot of people in West Hollywood.
His face is shaped like
of shop.
My face is the front of shop.
Shout out to Sophie. But yeah, Brian. I think Brian Tegan is there. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say his face is shaped like those pickles that ASMR the Chew be eating on. But
what were you gonna say, Renee?
Oh no!
I was gonna say the other one. The one of the people that came forward is really popular too, apparently. Like, and
Tegan Zane.
I don't know. It's just fucking weird. It's the whole thing is fucked.
It is weird. Anyways, I wish we had some more happy stuff to talk about today. Todrick Hall.
God.
Posted a YouTube video, and I'm just blaming you, for Rakeem, for making me watch this goddamn 16-minute long ass video, bitch. That was a short film.
It was a visual album,
girl. Yes, it was a right. It really was.
Wait, Baze, I haven't seen the video. Can you explain?
Oh, girl. I mean, I zoned out like the last 5 minutes of it. The last, I want to, probably sooner than that, but, some black gay dude on YouTube did a video, and it was basically calling him out for this most recent, I guess, skit video that he did or something or other. And it was he finally has like a black love interest, but the black love interest is like a thug, and like, they're just like, I guess, calling him out because like most of his love interests and his skits are like white men. And I feel like he intentionally missed the point in the video because he was like, well, you saw when what's that one woman who does Beyonce impressions? I can't remember her name. She does them really well and she sounds just like Beyonce.
Oh, Jay.
She's like, why did God give me this talent? Why did God do this? She's like, oh, she always does that monologue like really well.
Why did he make me light skinned?
But like he like pointed out that she was his love interest in the video and whatever and whatnot. And it was just like, girl, like, you know what they're talking about. Like, they're talking about your male love interests. And he did this whole thing, like, he was talking about, like, them calling, like, the white guys that he surrounds himself with. Because the guy said he surrounds himself with mayonnaise. And he was like, this is reverse racism. And it's just like, girl, like, this is how I know that you don't have any black people in your life. Because that is not a real thing. And then, like, I guess his eyes are real. So then he, like, called out, like, because people say that he has eye contacts. And I guess his eyes are just that light. Sure, okay. I mean, I didn't really care about that. And I never really focused on that personally. I just was like, I was just more.
That wasn't the issue for you.
Yeah, for me, I was just like, that was like, I don't know. It just felt like a unnecessary. It just felt like he was just throwing it in there. He was like, trying to do like a play-by-play of like the video. He would like play the guy's video and then he would respond to whatever the guy was saying in the video. And then he eventually just got tired of that, which, I mean, I was tired of it too. So I was glad that he felt that way as well in that video. But it just was, I don't know. It just was a really weird video. It didn't really address anything. He was like, oh, well, I know my earlier videos were problematic, but I'm not taking them down because some of the people that were in those videos are no longer with us. And I had great memories recording those videos and blah, 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 blah. And I know that they were problematic, but basically I'm just not going to take them down because I don't want to.
Well, I wanted to ask DJ about it because we had a conversation, and I know you had said that you had words, so I was curious to know.
Well,
like,
go off, DJ.
Oh, yeah, I have several.
That part.
Several. Yeah. Okay. So that whole thing, it's weird because I have such a weird relationship with Todrick Hall because I had a coworker that was like, "Oh, so like, did you watch that new Todrick Hall video?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did," and it was. Whatever. So like it was. It's just difficult because
on the clock.
Yeah, I'm on the clock and I'm like, I don't want to talk about this right now. So maybe later. But He reminds me a lot of how I was when I was like 7 or 8 years ago.
It shows.
And yeah, like, he just doesn't love himself, and I just
Back in 2011.
Weird. Yeah, 2011 me, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I get it from like some perspectives. He thinks that he's not black enough for black people and not white enough for white people. So I get it. Like, it makes sense because I've been there before too.
But
some people. Okay, here's the thing. Like the 2011 version of us, like, we've moved on. I feel like some people just stay stuck there. I feel like some people never actually evolve.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing.
Yeah, like, we grow. Because, like, the whole title of his video was that I'm not black enough, but nobody's calling your blackness into question. Everybody knows that
your
blackness, how you
yes.
center yourself around whiteness is what the problem is. That's what the whole conversation is about. Like, and there's this whole thing in a song where he's talking about how he doesn't see color, but like, no matter what, it's still in the song.
He tried to add, like, he tried to say, like, oh, well, like, I was talking about, like, it was the Wizard of Oz themed, and I was talking about how, like, now I see color, and he was saying that he didn't see my color because this is just skin. And I'm like, girl, that's still an issue. Like, I don't know why you thought that was, like, a valid explanation. Right,
and that's the whole like thing. Like, if you have to sit here and explain your whole topic to somebody, then you completely have missed
exactly.
It's pretty simple. Like, you need to go back and reevaluate if you got if that's what you got out of it.
That's exactly what it is. On top of that, it's just like, not only were you not hitting the content, but that also tells me that, like, you didn't do your research. Like, to me, that means it's either you're insensitive or you're incompetent. So, like, which one is it?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Both. Yeah.
No, I agree that
I think it's more the insensitive than incompetent, though. One thing I will never take away from Todrick Hall is he is a very hard worker, and he has built himself up for everything that he has. And, you know, if he wanted a sugar daddy, he could have had one. But no, but I won't take that away from him. He's very clearly a hardworking person.
He definitely is.
I don't think he's stupid. I think he just doesn't care, and I think he surrounds himself with white people. And honestly, that will completely warp the way that you see the world. Like, if you surround yourself with white people, it goes. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw that thing on Twitter where there was like these gays talking about their thick bitches, and it was like these white gays, and they were like skinny. They were like super skinny. Yes. And that's but you know what that's what I'm saying.
The spines like
when you when you are spending your time around people that are like all this certain specific type of way, it's very easy for that to warp the way that you see the world. And I'm sure that for some of those gays, like, again, if you're hanging out with somebody who is, for example, you know, 0% body fat, and girl, you're like 13% body fat, you're gonna be like, wow, I'm a thick bitch, because all of your friends are 0% body fat. Like, people, like, if you are surrounded by white people, of course you're gonna think that reverse racism is a real thing, because they're telling you that, and that's what you surround yourself with. Who's gonna tell you? And then anybody else outside of that group who's telling you different, they're just haters and they're racist.
Right.
The fact that he said that, the fact that he called that dude racist for calling white people mayonnaise, like, girl, I wish that. Give me that kind of racism. That's the kind of racism I want to do.
Right.
I remember, basically, I don't think I linked the response article, but it's from a guy named King of Reeds, whose name is Justin, and he's the one that the whole
King of what?
King of Reeds.
Oh.
And that's what his whole, like, he was the one Todrick was talking about, and he had said, well, about the mayonnaise thing, let's do a quick project. I would like for you to go and find mayonnaise or cracker or any so-called racist term that might offend white people on a birth certificate. And when I read that, I said, oh my God. Because there are, like, I think my grandma's birth certificate says Negro. Like, I'm pretty sure.
My mom's does.
Like, yeah, my mom's might too. So it's just like, I think the whole point of what people were saying was, and I think that's why Todrick missed the point. It's not saying you're not black enough, because, again, like you were saying, blackness isn't a monolith. It looks like different things. Like, me, you, and DJ are completely different people, right?
Completely different.
It's the fact that it was that thing that I read that had said, you know, Todrick Hall is proof that you can be a white gay without being white. And it was kind of like,
oh no,
I had mixed feelings about that, because I was a white person who posted that, and I was just like,
yeah.
Well, I didn't know all.
I was like, this is low key funny, but then I saw that, I was like, and And I took that laugh and I took it right back on in.
Well, here's look.
I don't like white people doing that. Y'all, white people be getting too damn comfortable. Y'all are the one. Y'all are the reason that this is the way that it is. So don't get too comfortable dragging people for racism. Be very careful about how you do that. Drag your fellow Caucasians, but be very careful about how you drag people of color.
Well,
like
exactly.
Drag your racist ass auntie,
drag
mama,
them.
your daddy,
drag your Trump supporting ass family at Thanksgiving. Save all that energy for that.
That part.
Sorry, that was a good tweet though, girl. Otherwise,
well, fuck my
But yeah,
point.
I think that's something.
Go ahead, Renee.
Oh, I was gonna say that is something that I feel like we should talk about sometimes, because I do feel like a lot of white folks get comfortable and like to talk to you about your self-hate. And it's just like it's not really your place specifically because you're white to like, you know, be saying that. Like there's a lot of fucked up things about that.
There was this
and it
white
feels like paternalistic. Sorry, go ahead.
There was this white gay who was like on Tumblr, and he was really feeling his oats, and he was out here like interacting with like all the like mean girls of color that were on Tumblr. You know, the ones that were like, "You're problematic, you're canceled, bitch. Did you say this, that on April 3rd of 2005?" Like, you know who I'm talking about. And so he was like, you know, he was really feeling himself, and he was trying to get in with them. And he tried to call somebody who was like Latinx a white supremacist and was like trying to drag the fuck out of them. And like, granted, you can be Latinx and a white supremacist, true.
Right.
Yep. But this person was brown. One, this person was brown. Two, they were not. There are some issues with some of the things that they said, that they have said in the past, but they were not to that point. And he was trying to do all this extra ass dragging. And I was just like, girl, that's still a person of color, so you need to check yourself. Right. The way that you're talking to him, like, yes, call people out for their anti-blackness, but you need to not be so comfortable in the role that you're trying to play right now. Right. And that gives me a lot of pause when I see white people doing all of that, because it's very performative, and it's worse than when I see people of color doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, I had, and I'll go into detail about this sometime later, but like I had a good friend, a quote unquote good friend at some point, who was a white dude who would try to kind of like throw the shit, like all the self-hate that I had in my face all the time. Meanwhile, this dude was only dating people of color, fetishized people of color. And it was just like, you are sitting there and like talking shit about me, about like the stuff that I'm struggling with, but you don't see like the power dynamics, and you actually also don't see the shit that like you're performing and the shit that like you're taking part in. So it's just like, yeah, that always makes me really uncomfortable, to be quite honest.
One day we need a discourse topic about white men taking advantage of the insecurities of black men and treating us like we're interchangeable. Taking advantage of all the snow queens and gathering them around like they on their damn plantation. Okay.
Wow.
And collecting them up in everybody's Instagram comments. I'm not mentioning any names, but anyway. But we do need to have a discourse topic, because unfortunately I've seen more than one white gay doing this, and it actually like irks the shit out of me.
It was like stupid. You were so excited that the racism jumped out. Like, I don't know.
The racist jumped out.
Okay, sis, like block.
Is this like when you get so drunk that the racism just slips out?
It's like when you get excited. Like, can you imagine watching Coachella and you just be like, "Oh my god, nigger!" Like no.
That was probably the audience when Beyonce was saying nigga in that audience. I saw a lot of tweets from black people saying that the white people were not shutting their mouths when that nigga was coming up.
That white people weren't or were?
They were not.
Well,
I know one of my friends had Instagram storied Cardi B's performance, and she has that song with SZA, and you know, there's that lyric, and I was
wait,
like,
sing it. I'll complete it for you.
I'm not gonna.
No, I'll say it for you.
I left that
nigga
on red because I felt like
there you go.
But yeah, like when my friend was like, because SZA actually came out for the performance, and people were like singing her portion of it. I was like, no, you guys can't sing it. But like, I get that you're like hyped, but you can't sing that.
That's another reason I can't do Coachella, because I would have been ready to fight everybody.
Baze would have
fought.
I'm gonna keep my to jail.
I would have just, you know what I would have did? I just would have stuck both of my fists out and just spin.
Okay, Zangief.
Some anime shit.
Yes, Zangief.
That's Zangief.
Turn into a dreidel, bitch.
Fidget spinner bays. Coming to Coachella near you.
Fidget spinner man.
What was those Barbies that would spin around?
Those like fairy ones?
Oh yeah, they're called Sky Dancers.
Oh my god.
I wanted one so bad. My mom would not let me have one.
Did you see the?
Oh,
Sky
Oh, is that what they were
Dancers,
called?
yeah.
Yeah, the Sky
Did
Dancers.
you see
Yeah,
the
that's
video
my
of that
favorite
one
line.
girl who like ripped hers and then like it flew
Yes,
into the
yes,
fireplace?
that was so sad.
I set fire to the rain. So yes, I'm bringing the accent out now. Let's see, what should we talk about next? So, I think Rakeem, you linked to this article about the ghost of Big Frida.
I did not actually.
Oh, that was me.
I'm assuming you did.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Renee. Okay. You know what? I should have known that when talking about transvisibility that it would be Renee and not Rakeem. I'm sorry, sis. That was
Okay,
my fault.
first okay, hold on. No, let me respond. Let me respond.
I'm just playing, sis.
Let me respond.
Move on.
No, as if I didn't do a whole fucking campaign last year.
Oh,
for
she said, shut your mouth,
What?
bitch. Can't nobody say nothing about nothing I did because I did a trans campaign once, bitch.
Hey, stop. Hey, stop it.
Wait a minute.
Cut it.
So,
Cut it.
Let's
Cut
talk
it.
about this article.
oh, bitch. Oh, what we want. Okay.
Baze,
Wow.
Baze, can you?
Okay.
I'm just playing,
Baze,
bitch. I'm just
move
playing.
on.
I am,
Oh, bitch,
girl.
I can't wait. No.
Girl, I know you have done a lot for the trans community.
Don't say that either.
So the ghost.
I'm
of
just
Frida-
joking. I'm trying to set you up. I'm just kidding.
No,
Girl,
I know
yes.
you're trying to set me up because when I leave, you want to keep doing this. But then when I come around, you don't want to.
You don't
Well,
want to
post
post up.
Don't get
no,
your ass
but-
beat.
Renee.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically,
Do you
I
want to
mean,
jump
here's the
into
thing.
this?
This article kind of focused on Big Frida, and like her appearances on Beyonce and Drake's songs, but not videos. I want to focus more
Right.
on Madonna specifically, and how she's used the queer community.
Oh, girl, that was like a little footnote in
what's
this
that?
article. That was a footnote. I thought you was gonna talk about the whole thing.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I feel weird about
black
pointing fingers at like artists of color, because I feel like
Okay.
well,
I'll do it for you.
white artists have done this a lot more and have been a lot more
Yeah.
damaging.
Okay. Well, I'll do it for you.
What's that? Go ahead.
If you want.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
I don't mind doing it for you. Okay, so I'll make this real quick. Basically the article talks about how Beyonce and Drake used Frida's voice and didn't have her in the video. It's by Miles E. Johnson, who I think you're cool with, Rakeem.
Yes, I love Miles. Miles is a friend. Hi.
Yes, I mean definitely like her voice. I don't know if is it they or she, because they're saying they're.
I think it's both.
Okay. Because I've seen like a lot of different pronouns
same.
and I don't want to mess up. I'll just stick with they. So, yes, Beyonce has used their voice. Drake has used their voice, and they were not in either one of their music videos. And I mean, look, I love Beyonce. I'm like meh on Drake. Beyonce definitely did bring them out at her New Orleans show and had them on stage. Is that enough? Probably not. You know what I mean? And I think, and I hope that, like, I think that Beyonce is listening. And I think that she's learning. I think that in her case, like, she's, like, Laverne Cox was supposed to be in Lemonade, but there was scheduling issues. I know that there was a lot of issues with, like, people, like, were really annoyed because she didn't have any big girls in Lemonade. There was, all the women were skinny. And, you know, at her performance at Coachella, she got some bigger girls in there. So, and, you know, and they were just part, like Rakeem pointed out last week, they were just part of, you know, the set. Like they weren't, I mean, not the set. They were part of like the group. They weren't just in there to be tokenized. They were in the like core group of dancers. So I think that in her case, like, should she do better? Absolutely. Yeah. And should Frida have been in the music video? I think, of course. Like, there's no reason that Frida should not have been in Formation video. In Drake's case, yeah, again, Drake is not someone. I don't know if Drake is learning or not because Drake has been sounding the same since he came out, so I can't really speak to that. But yeah, I mean, definitely our artists could do a lot better than what they are doing in terms of like queer visibility, because it's like it kind of sucks because you know you have people out here like Leaf and like Cakes the Killer and like I don't know if Jungle Pussy identifies as queer.
Mickey Blanco.
You even have like people on Twitter like who are like coming up right now, Dre Bay and there's Z what's this nigga's name? Z Taylor, and you know you have a lot of these queer artists that are like coming up, but they're like there's like kind of a blockade in front of them because they're not presenting the way that they want, you know, that we're supposed to present, and they're not talking about things the way that they're supposed to be talked about. So like it would be a huge thing for like some mainstream heterosexual artists to like have feature queer artists in their music videos as well as their songs, because they could be the barrier breakers, but unfortunately it doesn't look like a lot of that is happening in general. But there was also a point made about like Madonna and her co-opting of queer culture, so I'm gonna give it over to you, Renee.
Yeah, I mean, I basically said what I needed to say, but yeah, I just think it's just kind of like this appropriation or like tokenization of just like something that they think is like currently cool and like what's hot at the moment, and like the people that are like pushing culture forward and saying like, let me take this for like a second and like capitalize off of it, and then when I'm done with it, like just move on. And then that you know, those people are still she was kind of exploiting a lot of queer people of color, and like I remember there was one DJ that was talking about like for a while, like a couple years afterwards, he would refuse to play Madonna, and that's because like he saw all the people that like she kind of exploited like still struggling while she like capitalized off of this movement, and they were just like not about it afterwards. So yeah.
I just big Frida deserves. She's the queen of bounce, and bounce has been around for so long. So she deserves to get more acknowledgement.
She's amazing. Remember when we saw her?
So good.
We saw her at Pride 2016.
We saw her at Pride. It was the most lit.
And then when she did the dedication song for the people at Pulse the night before, that was so cute.
Oh yeah. That was such an emotional Pride. I forgot about that. It really was.
Yes.
It was right after
Me
Pulse.
too, because I was drunk.
It was.
Oh yeah, girl, you got fucked up and you weren't even there that long.
Was that the Pride reg? Listen, the last two Prides I can't tell you, because I know Pride 2017 I got really drunk and then fell asleep in my car and threw up on myself.
Oh,
and
yeah. I remember that story.
Yeah, that was not... I woke up and it was like 9 o'clock. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I fell asleep at 5.
Oh my god.
And I woke up and there was like dry throw up like all on my chest.
Oh no.
And I was like, Anyway. Sorry.
No, you're good. So Laverne Cox has revealed her bae, and he's a Caucasian, a full-blown Caucasian.
Not full-blown.
Yes.
Full-blown.
Yes, a full-blown Caucasian. And, yeah, I mean, congrats to her.
Question mark?
You know, but the issue is that there was a lot of backlash to this. A lot of people, you know, feel like, oh, okay, yet again, another queer, a queer black celebrity is with a white. And, like, I get it. But I don't know her dating situation. Like, it's one thing. You know what? I'm not going to say nothing about her because she's a trans woman. So, like, I like, don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know who she can date openly. And I know a lot of black men already have issues with black cis women. So, like, I don't even know, like, what kind of shit black trans women are putting up with when it comes to black men. But, like, if we were talking about, like, the rap niggas, like, the gay rap niggas, then, of course, I'm rolling my eyes because they are on some shit. And they're not even on some shit about, like, no fine white men. It's just all these, like, twinkie white boys that, like, look like they smoke weed all day and, like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't feel like going into that. But, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Same. I mean, I can't. Personally,
Renee and Rakeem don't know what to say.
I was gonna say personally, I don't have anything to say for several reasons about this particular case. But yeah, I will Latinx folks. But yeah, when it does kind of become a weird thing when you notice a pattern, when it like happens continually or again and again. Here's the thing with me is like I always want, or now maybe, let me not say always, but like now I'm just kind of like, you know what, do you
since 2011.
Wow.
No, now I'm kind of like, listen, like whoever you want to date, whatever. I don't want to be that judgy person anymore. Like, do you? If it makes you happy, then fucking do it. Then cool. Yeah. But I also on the other side of that coin, I want to say like there is very much for me something still there. Like I know that deep down, and you probably know as well, even if you won't admit it to yourself, is like, you know why you continue to go for these people that look like this. And so like again, I'm gonna drag myself, but like even like the last person that I dated who was a white, and you know who I was very serious about, like I knew the whole, like I was at the point already at that time where I knew deep down I was like, this is probably not good. There's probably a reason why I'm like sticking around and dealing with a lot of this bullshit. And there's also probably a reason why like I was attracted to this person in the first place, but I know this is not going to work out, or this is not good for me. So yeah, like basically like I'm like on one hand, like very much like just let people fucking live their lives. Just let people do what they need to do. That's fine. But on the other hand, I'm just like, you also need to be aware of why you're choosing that action, though, and you also need to be aware like what's going, because otherwise it's going to be even more damaging to you than it would be already. So, but yeah,
what I want to say is, I agree with Renee, but I also feel like I think that there's a distinction sometimes that people who. Well, I guess I should mention, because I mentioned it last week, because I said I was dating someone who was white and Japanese, and I'm not really dating them anymore. But, no, I mean, it's fine. Like, we've talked about it. It's fine. But I think that there is a distinction between people that, I think there's a distinction between black people, and I'm going to talk about black people specifically, that, like, constantly chase whiteness versus people who, like, just have a white partner or like happen to have a white partner, because I don't want to sit here and be one of those people that's like, oh, you're in an interracial relationship, like fuck you, because I think that that's kind of I think that that's stupid, to be honest with you. I understand that there's like societal context there and that there's history and that kind of thing, but I think if you're a black person or a person of color and you happen to fall in love with a white person or whatever, then like there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that person then needs to take the extra time and effort to understand what, like, to try to understand like what your struggles are and not like constantly question you on them. Like I think there needs to be effort that goes into that. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with interracial dating. I always side-eye people when it seems that that's like a pattern or a thing, which is why people looked at Todrick Hall in a certain kind of way, because they noticed that like this was something that like constantly came up. So
he's a chaser, so that's a different.
And I think that's what the issue is, because I think it says like, oh well, this is me prioritizing whiteness. And I've said it before, there's nothing wrong with dating white people, but there's a problem with putting whiteness on a pedestal. And like there's a problem with people saying, well, I felt like I have a prize because I got a white person, or I feel validated because I got a white person, or something like that. And that's the issue for me. So especially with Laverne Cox, like, she's a black trans woman who's also like darker-ish skin. So like I'm not about to sit there and police who she can and can't date. Like I don't know what the fuck her history is, or like what this man had to do in order to get her. So I'm happy for her, and until, you know, I see her date 8 other white men and say whatever, then I'm happy for her, and I'm just gonna take it at face value, and I'm not gonna be one of those people that's like, girl, fuck you canceled because you're dating a white person. Because at the end of the day, if Chris Evans asked to fuck half of y'all, you would do it.
I mean, I would.
Same, I would.
I sure would. Absolutely.
100%.
I volunteer. I mean, yeah, I think pretending like the context is the same as like a black gay man or a bi man or whatever, a queer man, and like a trans woman. Like, I don't think you can put those those two identities in the same category. Like, you don't know what she has to go through dating wise. That, you know what I mean? Like, I know what a gay black man has to go through, or what a bisexual, to an extent, what a bisexual man has to go through. And I think it's just different. And you just can't put those two things in the same category.
I feel like this is something that we should explore further.
So,
later. But.
Yeah, of course. Definitely. Preferably with a trans person on the show. If we're going to talk about that, if that's what you're talking about. Nicki Minaj, Rakeem actually got dragged for, I think, Twitter for not,
well, here's the thing. I didn't feel dragged.
Okay.
I didn't feel dragged. I just felt bombarded. But keep going.
Yes. So, some of y'all had some thoughts and some feelings about the fact that we didn't talk about Nicki last week, and I'm just gonna say, like, I do like Nicki, and I really liked Pink Print. Like, I thought that was a pretty good album. These two singles, I thought they were fine. That's about it. Like, I really don't have anything else for them. Like, I don't listen to them. I didn't like Barbie Tings really all that much. And again, like, I feel like I'm parroting the read, but like, I really thought that they were just fine. Like, I didn't really care about
DJ, what did you think?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that she knows who Chun-Li is. That's the first thing that I would say.
Yes, that.
Agreed.
I mean, I was probably just sitting there like all bitter and angry, like, man, like, you don't know who Chun-Li is. I don't like, and I'm a big gamer nerd, so that's probably what I looked like the whole time. And like, she's like the first female fighting game character ever. So like, she just
fake nerd girl.
This fake nerd girl. Yeah, I'm not like crazy about either single. I think both of them are fine.
The barb jumped out for me because I was just like, she said Laura Bancroft, and I said, wait a minute. I said, wait, where'd my wig go? I loved both of them. I thought that it was what I wanted Nicki to do for such a long time. I've wanted Nicki to come through and just rap and not worry about, like, I will say though, I was talking to someone earlier about this today, that I don't like the fact that Nicki always raps about the same thing, and that's like her being the best. And I get that it's hip hop, but it's like, you could rap about like other shit. Like, I don't want to hear about your pussy, and I don't want to hear about you being better than all these other hoes. No, because I feel like Nicki Minaj isn't that great at sex. I just feel like she says she is.
I like it.
Ooh.
What? Is that problematic?
No. It's not problematic. I'm just like, let me see. Do I, like, if I ever meet Nicki Minaj, let me see what I'm going to say right now. Because I just want to...
Well, and look, listen, I'll say this. If Nicki Minaj hears about this and she responds, then thank you for listening to our show.
No, I don't think that. I just think, like, if at any point in my life, like, I'm at the level where I'm, like, interacting with Nicki Minaj, I don't want this to come back and bite me in the ass. So let me think about how I'm going to say it. I'm just going to leave that part alone. I'm just going to say that I thought the two songs were they were decent, but I felt they felt unfinished to me. Like, they felt like there was more that could have been. It was lackluster. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Wow. So I hope the person who was in my mentions is happy.
I know, because, yeah, you like out here standing for her. That whole beef was like whatever that maybe beef
Cardi
thing, whatever that happened between her and Quavo and Cardi. It really didn't even seem like it was anything to do with Cardi, honestly. Like, it seemed to me like, I feel like Quavo and like Offset and whatever the other nigga's name is were like stirring the pot. That's what it sounds like to me. That's how I feel about it personally anyway. I don't feel like Cardi would just come out and just be beefing with Nicki for no reason. And I honestly, while I do feel like Nicki might be shook by Cardi's rise, I think she knows how to act, and I just feel like I definitely feel like the niggas were doing some dirt, stirring the pot.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. It really wasn't that interesting, so I don't know. You guys have anything to say about it?
I mean,
no.
I just like when she raps about her pussy. I disagree.
Wait, you like when she raps about her pussy?
Yes, I want to hear more women rap about.
You talk about your pussy all day long and your water being clear, so of course you love that.
Thank you.
Well,
Like if John was a rapper, that is literally
Yes.
what bitch's water is clearer than mine.
It's called the Clearwater print.
What the fuck?
oh my god.
The clear water
the
print.
Fleet print.
Not the clear
If
print.
it's leaving the print, I don't think it's that clear.
The fleet print.
The fleet print. Fleet print. Oh, bye.
I cannot. Let me write that down before I forget, because that's great.
The fleet print.
I cannot.
Do you maybe want to do one more, Baze?
Yeah. Shout out to Beyonce for giving $100,000 in scholarships to HBCUs.
Yes.
You know. Also, you know, everybody was retweeting Kanye West for the past week or whatever because he's been on his like philosophical bullshit, and I just like the whole time I was just sitting up there like smirking because I was just like, y'all niggas forgot that he was buddy with Trump, and then he came out and what is this woman's name? What is this woman's name that he was out here praising? Her name is Candace Owens, and she is a conservative activist turned communications director for Turning Point USA. That is a nonprofit, and they are they're spreading right-leaning values on college campuses, and apparently they are close to the Trump White House. Yeah, she's a black woman who just is I guess she's just a coon is the best way to sum it up. You know, Kanye.
I always get a little like, no!
Yeah,
Wait,
she almost
what was
said
that,
it. Did you hear
John?
that?
What
What
was
was that, John?
What was that?
Nothing.
Ooh, she caught herself, huh?
What?
The anti-blackness almost jumped out.
Jumped out.
I just get a little like,
Yeah,
You get a
Kanye
little
West.
what, excited?
Kanye West
what,
was out
excited?
here, and it's just really sad because his dad was a Black Panther, his mom was like a college professor in Black studies, and you know he used to be someone who would speak out against this back in like 2005 when people were calling people. I mean, they weren't saying fake woke yet, but you know what I mean. Like when you were talked down upon for speaking out against racism, and this is a woman who's aligned herself with Alex Jones, who is a man who has who's on top of being extremely racist, has like sicked conservative nutcases onto the parents of those kids from Sandy Hook and like calling it a hoax. Like this is who Kanye is praising right now. The woman who is like aligning herself with a man like that. Like, and everybody like retweeting all his shit, talking about, oh my God, Kanye really got the blueprint, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, this nigga's not talking about nothing new. Like who, believe in your dreams. Like, okay, thank you. People been saying that for forever. Like,
but it feels like Kanye's talking to me when he says that.
Niggas acting.
No.
Yeah, when Kanye said believe in your dreams, when Kanye said fuck the haters, I felt that. Like, I was just like, girl, I swear, whenever like them or like Odd Future or like any of these rap niggas say anything random, niggas be like, oh my God, this is so deep. Like, bitch, read any philosophy book and it'll tell you the same exact shit, and probably in a better way too.
I have nothing to add. I don't like him.
Me neither.
I don't. And
I'm really sad because I
him and the Kardashians
still love him a little bit.
We been new.
And
new.
The music and the music is
she loves her a problematic
amazing.
black.
Like the music is amazing, but it's just like it's not lyrically. Yeah, he's it's just not. It's kind of sad for me. It's not Anna Wintour. No, it just no. It was like he was just like really inspiring for me when I was younger. Especially like when he was speaking out again.
Like 2011 Kanye?
I missed the old Kanye.
Wait, but that's crazy because Kanye was unproblematic in 2011.
Oh,
he regressed.
He I guess he did the opposite. Like we like did the self-hating and then he went into it, I guess. No, but yeah, I'm really heartbroken about all this stuff too.
John was about to say, can I say it?
No, I just
anyway. Yeah, so sad. All right, well, Kunye's over. Let's move on to just shouting out, I guess, Natalie Portman.
Wow, Queen of Divestment.
Like,
wow.
homegirl, I mean, she went from being super
Lord
pro
is shaking.
Israel. Wait,
What
what?
did she do?
You said Queen of Divestment. I said Lord is shaking.
Here's the thing.
Lord who?
A lot of people used to say, and maybe even me, had the idea that Natalie Portman, before the way that she would speak before, that she was actually a Zionist. So for her now to like, it looks like she's like growing and like doing things and like actually putting like actions into her like values. I'm just like, holy shit, like, wow, like these, you know, some of these artists can actually grow. So yeah.
We love growth here at Podcast.
Also, R.I.P.
We
for
stand
the,
growth.
Prince has been gone for 2 whole years.
Wow.
And just released
Wow.
they just released his version of Nothing Compares to You, and y'all should go listen to that. Amazing legendary Gemini. But yeah.
Yes,
Also-
a Gemini.
I just want to end this segment by saying happy to your anniversary to
Oh.
Lemonade. And
Yes.
that John did not buy. So and with that, we will see you in the
Yeah.
discourse.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody. Oh, whoa!
Oh,
Sorry, I was
God.
trying to-
Okay. Where
Wait,
was that going?
wait. Sorry, I was trying
The
to.
power
do
of Christ
Baze's-
compels you.
It's dork-sided.
Dwark.
I was trying to do Baze's French accent, and then
That was
the
French?
devil jumped out. So this week for the discourse, we're going to talk to DJ and
Hey,
it's
me.
my
Hey,
fellow
DJ.
nigga in the Franks, and I'm very excited.
Where?
It's an inside joke.
Oh, they have inside jokes.
It's so
Rakeem has a new
dumb.
black,
So
I guess.
dumb.
Mm.
Oh, girl. Oh, let's talk about your new black friend, though.
So
As
Who
I
said
thought.
that? Who said that?
Yeah, that's what I thought. So anyway, so DJ, maybe you can introduce the audience to what you do, your comic book. You can talk about Black Mage a little bit, and then after you do that, I want to ask you a few questions, kind of about like our queer gaming nerd community in general and things like that. So maybe just talk a little bit about like what you do, tell people how the magazine came about, or I'm sorry, the comic came about, and then a little bit about your experience in that field, and then what that's like for you, if you don't mind.
No, not at all. So yeah, I am a comic book artist. So I basically make comic books pretty. I try to anyway.
No, you do. They're really nice.
Thank you. So I've been drawing my entire life. So for context, God, I'm 32 years old. My God. And I've been drawing ever since I could pick up a pencil. And
Aww.
it's wow. I guess I have to kind of start from the beginning. I guess. So
Yeah,
I was
go
like
off.
7 or 8, and I just remember watching Sailor Moon for the first time as a kid.
Yeah.
And
Wait, can I
and-
stop you right there?
Yeah,
Because
please.
John thought that Sailor Moon was white.
I mean, to be fair, I think everyone did, and it also didn't help that the fact that they
Thank
changed
you.
all their names. Well, some of their
Yeah.
names in the English version, so
Serena.
that's fair. But
No, she's Usagi to me.
but
bitch.
she is to
anyway.
me as well. But yeah, I get where that comes from, and you know, people. still do
Rakeem
that
is
today.
always dragging me. I don't know.
Is that a love, sis? It's because I had a really scarred childhood and I don't know how to show affection without
Oh,
dragging
okay.
people. But anyway,
Thank you.
hello, darkness, my
Wow.
old friend. Anyway, we're talking
That's the
about DJ.
next discourse.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I watched Sailor Moon for the first time, and I remember I was getting ready for school, and I was watching it, and I kind of like pointed to the television, and my mom was getting ready for work, and I was getting ready for school, and I was eating my cereal, and I pointed to the television. I said, "Mom, I want to do that," and she kind of like peeks out of the bathroom and sees me like watching Sailor Moon, and she's like, "Okay," and then kind of just goes back to what she's doing. And she's like, "Oh, my baby is so fucking gay. I know it." But
Oh no.
but
Did she encourage your gayness?
oh God, no, she didn't initially, and that's a wild story. But I'll go into that briefly. But she's always been super supportive of my career and wanting to do art and all that stuff, because I think she really saw from a really young age that I was very serious about wanting to do art and things like that as a career. I was like 7 or 8 when I was like, I want to work in cartoons and all that stuff. And when I figured out that Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z like came from Japan, I was like, what? There are cartoons from Japan and all this stuff. And then I found like a small store that was where I grew up. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. There was a store that sold like fan subtitled VHS tapes of like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon and Ranma 1/2. And I got
Ranma
exposure. Yes, we stand old school anime.
Yes.
But I got really exposed to that stuff at a very young age. So I was watching like subtitled anime from a very young age, and I was super into that stuff. And I still very much am today, which is kind of how when I found the show and when the few times where you actually do get to talk about nerd stuff for Kim, I'm like, I see her.
Yes.
I see her. She wants to. The nerd jumped out.
Truly. Like,
yeah.
Aww.
And so from there, I went through like elementary school, middle school, and high school, and did art. Took as many art classes as I could in school. Took some outside of school, and then I went to the Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia, where I got my degree in sequential art, quote unquote, but it's just a fancy word for comic books. So I'm like a certified degree carrying nerd is what I like to consider myself.
yes.
An intellectual sequential artist.
Yeah, and in school it was very much focused on like the craft and how to draw and the different ways of drawing comics, but manga and anime wasn't really like welcomed in those spaces. It was very much like traditional American comics, like Batman, Superman, stuff like that. Like I had a professor that worked for Marvel and DC for like 20 or so years, and it's still working today. So industry professionals that have been in the game for such a long time. And when I was in college, it was 2004 through 2009. Like, that was kind of like coming out of where like Toonami was on Monday through Friday afternoons and all of that stuff. And that's when you saw a lot of kids. That's when like DeviantArt was kind of happening because people actually had internet connections that actually worked. So they could upload their art and all that stuff. So you saw like a super huge influx of people that were inspired by anime and manga coming to all these classes. And with that, a lot of professors saw that a lot of those students, well, some of them didn't have the foundational drawing skills, so they kind of looked at like anime and manga influenced art as like, oh, like this is like super easy and this and that. It's really not. Yeah, they were like dragging me and like all my other students that I went to school with. But once I was in school and my professors actually saw that I could draw and I knew what I was doing, like I did have the foundations and I did have the life drawing experience and all that stuff. They're like, oh, like this is just the way that he likes to draw when he wants to. And I'm inspired by so many different things now. Like I used to read a lot of anime. I used to read a lot of manga, and I still watch a lot of anime today. But I grew up watching all the American 90s animated shows, so like Goof Troop and everything Disney and X-Men, Tiny Toons, all that stuff. So I feel like at this point, well, at least a lot of people have told me that my art's kind of like this amalgamation between like Saturday morning cartoons from the 90s in the US and like 90s anime, which is perfectly fine for me. Like I love that. But
that's a nice compliment.
Yeah, and at first I initially didn't know how to take it because I think at that time I was like, God, I want my stuff to look like it came straight from Japan, and I was like, let me calm down and actually just draw the way that I want to draw. And just by letting myself not be so restricted to just only taking in influences from like Japanese stuff and looking at the stuff that I grew up with, like Tiny Toons and all that other stuff, it kind of really made my work kind of transform and be its own thing, which is pretty cool.
So how did Black Mage start? And then like how do you, because I know you're still working on it, correct?
Yeah.
So like how did that start? And then like what is that? Because I believe the premise is it's like the first Black student at a magic school, so kind of like if J.K. Rowling did Harry Potter correctly. So
you pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's like the first Black student to attend this all magic academy, and then when he gets to the academy, he actually finds out that it's run by the KKK. So like
Oh,
that's
whoa.
that's
Shake
the
the
twist.
table, sis.
What
And
a twist
it's
it is.
and so like the book kind of opens with the main character. His name is Tom, and he is like the first. Yeah,
The
and so
layers.
his full name is Tom Token, and
No.
Well,
and he
damn.
has a
Wingardium
familiar-
Leviosa.
Yeah, and he has a familiar that's a crow, and its name is Jim. So there's
Oh,
all these layers to it.
wow. Kanye
it's-
is shook, bitch.
It's amazing. So this whole project came about. I was at Penny Arcade Expo, which Penny Arcade's a webcomic series that's about games and has been around for a while, but the comic is actually really trash, and the guys that make it are terrible people. So I was at this convention because one of my friends lives up in Seattle and was like, "You should come up and let's hang out." And so I was up there, and and from college, I had a relationship with Oni Press, who is like an independent comics publisher, who their whole thing is they want to publish everything that isn't superhero stuff. So if you have like a cape comic, meaning like a Superman or a Batman or something like that, they don't want it. So that was definitely my lane and where I wanted to go because I have no interest in working for Marvel or DC. So I was at this convention and at the time my then editor, who is now VP of like a different department within the publishing studio, saw me and has been following me on Twitter for years. And I'm like, I'm so sorry because I said some really awful shit on Twitter many
Who
moons
hasn't,
ago.
though? Like,
But he has been following my work for a long time, and he said, "Hey, are you still interested in doing comics?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I am." So he says to me, "I have a book for you that I think would be really great. I want you to audition for this book." So in comics, well, depending on who you're working with, especially if you're new to the industry like myself, you basically audition for a book if they have a title that has a writer already attached to it, but they don't have an artist. They basically want you to do sample pages just to kind of get an idea of what your style is and how you would handle like different storytelling elements, how you would convey, the world that you're illustrating. And so I auditioned for the book. This was the end of 2015. So I met my editor.
not the 2011 DJ?
Not 2011 me. She's dead. She can't come to the phone right now.
2013, she was woke.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So after that, like I got back from the convention and they put me in touch with the writer whose name is Daniel Barnes, and he's amazing and also a new Black writer that wants to get into comics and all that stuff. So initially they had a pitch with art for Black Mage, but they didn't like the art, but they loved the story. So they wanted to find another artist for it. And so my editor at the time was like, I think you'd be perfect for this. I think it's 100% your lane. It's anime, it's video games, it's all that shit that you love and talk about on Twitter all the time. So I think that this would be a perfect book for you. So I auditioned in November of 2015, and then I signed the contract saying that I had the book in January of 2016. And I've been working on it ever since.
A bad bitch.
We love
Go off,
contracts.
sis.
Yeah.
Contracts in the Franks, bitch. We love contracts. Go off.
Here at Podcast of Color, we stand contracts.
Yes.
We sure do.
Yes, we do. Yeah. And comics is such a weird industry, and it's so small, and everyone kind of knows everybody. And it's a really interesting space to work in.
Ooh, can you spill some tea?
I swear, if you just look at my Twitter feed, Rakeem, I'm always talking about somebody in comics that's being shitty.
No, I
to
do,
women
but I
and
mean,
all that
but
stuff,
not like professional, like
Yeah.
who fucks
Bitch.
who, like that kind of thing.
Fan con.
That's a whole fucking hot mess. I feel so bad for people that
Mark was supposed to go to that. My boyfriend was
No.
supposed to go to that.
Well, I'm glad that he didn't. My God.
He did not. No.
Wait,
Fortunately,
why
he
was
was
he
able to
mad?
cancel his train ticket as well. Sorry.
I'm
go ahead.
glad. But yeah, comics is difficult just because like it's not unionized or anything like that, and it's all freelance based. So if you aren't like hustling and are like always on social media or like working towards something or like doing like commissions and all of these other kind of things, it's hard to kind of build up a body of work. And every day I want to delete like my Twitter account, but it's such an integral part to my career, and all my jobs I've gotten through like Instagram and Twitter. So it's been super invaluable for me for my career. So I kind of have to stick through it and use it. But there's a lot of like misogyny in comics. There's a lot of like homophobia and transphobia in this industry, and it sucks. But what's cool now is that, kind of going back to people that are being influenced by anime and manga and all this other stuff, like there are also lots of queer creators that are working in comics right now, which is amazing. So we're seeing people that are coming into comics right now that are heavily influenced by anime and manga and various other things, but are also super fucking queer and are unapologetic about it, which is amazing. So we're seeing a lot of queer stories coming out through major publishers and for smaller publishers that are doing really well. And we're seeing more stories surrounding people of color and all of that stuff. So it's great. And when I was told what the premise of Black Mage was, I didn't realize until after like I started working on the book and read the synopsis and read the script that it's everything that I wanted it to be. I get to draw a comic about a Black kid like being in high school and being the token, being the odd one out, which is so much of what my experience was growing up in the South and being one of like 2 Black families in our neighborhood and being one of maybe like 25 or 30 Black students at middle school and in my middle schools and high schools. So it's been an amazing opportunity to kind of inject a lot of my experience and a lot of Daniel's experience into this book. And we've worked together. It's really become it's become more of a, as opposed to like a writer-artist relationship, as to it's a partnership from both of us. So I have a lot of say as to what happens narratively in the book, which is really cool, but Daniel does a lot of the heavy lifting there. But Daniel also has a lot of say as to what happens artistically in the book, like certain things that he wants to see in it. And there's this really good...
You can be like, no, bitch.
Yeah. Fortunately for Daniel and I, we actually really like each other, which isn't common at all in comics. So I really lucked out by having someone that has a similar experience to me, that is, is like an only child that was Black and was a huge nerd and was kind of like the outsider looking in, like the outside student in a predominantly white experiences and white spaces. And it's been great because we found a lot of common ground immediately, and we immediately clicked because we all love the same kind of games and we have a lot of the same points of reference. So we'll be talking about like an anime or something together. We want something like that in the book. So we text each other on a regular basis, like, oh, I had a great idea. Like, what if we reference this thing from this show, from this episode, this and that, and we have this great back and forth. And it's really a partnership, and it's been an incredible opportunity to do that.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, because I actually wanted to ask John, Renee, and Baze about this before I asked you. Like, because so like obviously me and you, we play Overwatch together, and like we play games online, and like we have this group called Petty Watch that we do, and our experiences have been really interesting, like different our experiences have been interesting when we kind of go online, even like separately, and kind of deal with people on mic, and we have this idea where we don't actually talk to people unless we're in a group together because of that. So for y'all, I was curious, like for John and Renee and Baze, I know y'all aren't like nerds like we are, but I was just curious, like, have you ever experienced like homophobia or like racism like in that kind of space before? Like, have y'all like, well, I don't know, like, have you like played a game before, and like have you had a friend that maybe has like talked to you about that kind of experience?
Yeah. No, I was going to say, well, actually I was going to direct this question to DJ later on, but like, I know this is pretty common for most of us too, is that I'm always drawn to female characters. Like,
oh yeah,
every time I play a video game, it's always Chun-Li, or if Mortal Kombat, I'm going to be Sonya, or if it's going to be, it's like, and then I always get like, and I'm playing these games with like straight guys, and I'm like, why are you always picking girl characters? You're so gay. And it's like, why are the female characters the weaker ones? And why are you like, why am I being judged for picking? I mean, obviously this is an option for a reason, because they're just as good.
Yeah.
And that always frustrated me as a kid, and I always feel like I'd always have to second guess myself before I just like chose to pick this person. And but yeah, that was my experience, and I was gonna ask DJ, like, what do you think it is for us that like draw? Because you could probably articulate it better than I can.
Sure.
Like, why are we drawn to like strong female characters?
I'll try to use I statements in this. For me,
I statements.
For me, my mom was like the head of the household. Like, she was the breadwinner. She was the one that worked tirelessly to provide an excellent life for me and my dad and her parents. And she works really hard. And I come from a family of strong women that are just like very opinionated and very determined and all of that stuff. And seeing that in the content that I consume and seeing that in games, it's like, oh, like, Chun-Li is a bad bitch. Like, she is the strongest woman, like, in the world. Like, she was like the first like female fighting game character. So that she's truly an icon, and people know who that character is. She's
Except
so
Nicki
recognizable.
Minaj.
Except for Nicki Minaj, she doesn't know who she is, I guess. But I'm always really attracted to that and gravitate to that because I've just been surrounded by so many women in my life. I was the first boy in 15 years in my family, so I'm the oldest and the gayest. So all the boys come after me, and all my cousins, my immediate cousins, are the same age group as me, are all girls. So I've been just like inundated with women my entire life, which has been amazing. So I love that, and I don't know, like, I think one of my friends who is another comic book artist, he goes, his handle is Trungles, and he made a really awesome point a couple months ago on Twitter where he said that, like, this specifically talking about comics, and said that comics, especially like superhero comics like Batman or Superman, things like that, kind of represented the men in their life that were their bullies and were, saying terrible things to them and harmful to them in different ways. But the women in like Sailor Moon or like Cardcaptor Sakura or Ranma 1/2 represented the girls that stood by them and would protect them and, warded off the bullies away from us when we were tiny little gay babies. So I think that also has something to do with it for me as well, to where like that sense of like women have always had my back in every aspect of my life. So that's why I always like gravitate to female characters in games, I think. I think that's definitely part of it. And also some of the outfits are sickening. So there's that too.
Can I ask another question really quick?
Sure.
So, everyone, DJ's Instagram is OheyDJ. That's OHEY. Oh, OHHEY DJ. And it's a really good feed. And I was going to ask, like, you have a really good amount of, sometimes I go through people's illustrations and it's mostly like men.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of female illustrations, and I think that's really beautiful. Which do you have more like enjoyment drawing? Do you like drawing the male characters or the female
or furries?
Because I love that you're female. They just look like real fun, and like as you're doing them, I wonder which one you have more fun doing.
So for a long time, I had more fun drawing women. So, because I love drawing hair and like beautiful outfits and things like that. So, and what's really funny is that beautiful gowns, beautiful skirts, all of it. And I was gonna save this for later because I'm gonna honey roast the group later if that's okay. But I do want to say this now specifically to you, John, is that you specifically for me really made me think about how I thought about gender a lot differently and how I thought about my own like gender identity as well, because like I don't really think that I kind of like fit into like being totally masc, and I don't think I feel like I'm being like totally femme. I kind of feel like I sit somewhere in the middle, but I mostly ID. And when you look at me, I look like a cis black man. But yeah, I love all of that stuff. So like I draw lots of women because I just love drawing them, and they're so much fun. And I'm like, man, I want to like, these outfits are incredible, and I get to have so much fun when I'm designing outfits for girls and all of that stuff. So whenever I get to inject anything that's tangentially related to Sailor Moon in my work, I always do it if I can. But
so cute.
Now, as of recently, because I don't know what it was to why I didn't make this connection sooner, was I just remember like looking at Tumblr and following other queer artists on Tumblr, and mostly they would draw like white men, and I'm like, where are all like the brown boys of color and all of that stuff in in art and illustrations. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm an artist. I'm queer and black and not like skinny or conventionally attractive. Why don't I draw the things that represent me and people that feel like me and put that in my own work too, and still express my gender and how much I love pink and all these other things into my work. So that's when I started really like drawing a lot more men and having way more fun drawing men. And what's been really cool is like having gone to a couple of conventions, and I have a lot of my like Bara inspired stuff at my tables usually.
Yes, Bara.
And I would have women come up to me and they're like, "This is some good shit right here," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And they're like buying it for their boyfriends and all of that stuff, which is really cool.
Wait. Straight women were buying Bara prints for their men.
Yeah,
for their straight men.
I'll tell you why, because I had a woman come up to me and was like, "Hey, like, I love that you have this kind of stuff, because my boyfriend is like kind of like a chubby dude, and he doesn't really see himself in things like that. So it's cool to see like larger men and men of color illustrated in a very sexy way, like they're the object of desire, and he gets to see himself reflected in work that is of sexual nature, which I never put those two things together for like cis hetero couples, but that's a totally another lane that I didn't realize that my work fit into. But I'm doing this all for my queer folk. That's what this work that I do is for. And if straight folks enjoy it too, that's just more money in my pocket. So I can't complain with that.
well,
I don't see the lie.
Yeah.
Did you have or Renee? Did y'all have anything you wanted to ask, or should we?
I don't. I think Renee's internet is acting up, so I don't think he can actually hear us. But for me, I mean, I really don't, because I like games, but like I really try really hard to be outside of the communities because I've heard they're trash.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I have a lot of personal experience with.
Yeah, and I can kind of speak to that a little bit more too, because I worked for a company here in the Bay that's called Showdown for about 2 years. And basically what they do, we have this thing, it's called SF Game Night, and it's every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And it's like a giant, like 4,000 square foot warehouse to where it's just like all video games, board games, beer pong, ping pong, and like music and drinks and all that stuff. And it's a really popular spot in the city. And I was really involved with playing Super Smash Brothers competitively for a really long time. Yes. And I kind of really injected myself into that community of people, because it's like, I know so many like queer folk that love playing fighting games and playing them at a competitive level, but they don't often feel welcome in those spaces because straight dudes literally just drop like gay and faggot and this and that and as a pejorative on a regular basis on voice chat and in person in these spaces and in those communities on Facebook and message board forums and Twitter. So it's really unappealing for queer folk to want to inject themselves into those spaces. But I was like, if nobody else is going to do this, why can't it be me? So I went into this and I was like, hey, I'd love to be involved in this community. I would love to bring my expertise and like my love for Smash Brothers into this and like help organize events and all that stuff. So it was kind of like a thing that we did just like as a community for a little bit, where I was like, hey, we're going to go to this SF Game Night thing, and then we're going to organize a Smash Brothers tournament we're going to play. And then the people that worked there saw that like I was bringing in, with other people too, of course, bringing in people to come play this game. And to people to come in and
I would take all the credit. I'd be like, look, I did what
I statements.
And two, because it brought in revenue for them, because they charge $5 a head for people to get into this space. And
$5 for some head, that's it?
Yeah, I mean, just for some head.
I'm what? Who said that?
Who said that? But so they saw that we were bringing all these people, and that's more revenue for them. And they were like, hey, do you want to work for us and do like community management and social media with us? And I'm like, yes, I would love to. So that kind of parlayed into being like on camera for Twitch stuff with them. And then by people seeing me like being very like openly gay and like loud and just having fun and like bringing that energy to like Smash Brothers, people on Twitch were like, that were queer, that we'd watch these tournaments because they didn't want to participate themselves because of straight people ruining everything for everyone. that they're like, oh, this guy goes to these things, so why don't I go to it myself?
I don't see the lie there, and I absolutely. It's funny because like I've gone to like tournaments like that too, and I've been playing. Like I've actually just told people sometimes like when they've been saying stuff like that online that like I've been like, oh, I'm gay, and then like you just like to see their reaction, and then kind of like see what they say, because I feel like a lot of the times in the community, if you can even call it that for queer people sometimes,
right? Yeah,
like. Yeah, I think it's hard because like you want to go on like have a good time, especially because games are escape from reality, especially like with where we live in right now. It's like it's like, oh my god, I don't want to sit here and talk about like, you know, like Trump's wall or whatever, and so you want to go. Sorry.
Oh, girl, I thought you said Trump's walls. I was like, ooh.
No. Yikes.
So you know what? I'm not even gonna. That's fine. So you know, DJ, where can we find you? I don't even want to finish the point. Where's your links, and then we'll go into the male of color.
Yeah, sure. So you can follow me on both Twitter and Instagram at OheyDJ. That's OhHeyDJ. And then the podcast that I do is called Magical Boys. I do it with my friend Ruben. It's a bi-weekly podcast with my bisexual co-host. And we talk about games and queer shit and anime and all that stuff every other week. And that's Magical Boys. You can find our show on iTunes or wherever else you get your podcasts. And and Black Mage is coming in early 2019, so be on the lookout for that.
And also, congrats, Ruben, on your engagement! Yay!
Yay! Yeah, my co-host just got engaged. His partner proposed while they were in Japan, which is like
in goddamn Japan.
Wow!
Yeah, so it was awesome. So like, I was like in tears. I'm like, oh my god, that's so great, amazing, I love you. But yeah, so yeah, that's where you can find us.
Yes.
Just a quick note for any men out there: if you want to propose to me in Japan, I'll say yes.
just a note for Mark: if you want to propose to me in Japan,
wow.
Ooh. 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 Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay. So on that, we'll move on to the male of color.
All right. Hello. And we just finished the Dixcast. We are back with the male of color. And
color.
Today we have a very how do you say juicy cutter email. Juicy cutter. So we have this email from Ali. So he actually wrote 2 emails into us, and just because we got so many, we've been trying to do a little bit every week, but we're like backlogged. But still write into us because we're trying to get through them. Anyway, Ali says that he is in this first email. I'm gonna read this one first. He's I'm a paraphrase because this is long. This is like a little this is a chapter. He said he's 27. And he was dating some white boy that he met at the gym. He's yes. So he's a Middle Eastern guy. He's a young working professional. He's in grad school. He saw this guy in the gym for like a month. For months, plural. They would look at each other, but they would never really talk. That sounds like the gym, honestly and truly. And then he decided to download Grindr, and long story short, they ended up fucking. They spent 2 amazing weeks with each other and had amazing sex, and the company was great. And they were texting nonstop.
For 2 whole weeks, like nonstop?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said.
That's a long time for gay relationships.
Oh, hell no.
And, he proved that he was woke because he listened to POC podcasts. I don't think they mean ours. I think they just mean podcasts that were God, why am I blanking on the word? That hosted, there we go, podcast. So he said that he seemed well informed on racial and social issues. about a week and a half ago, which this is now like almost a month ago, but he started disconnecting. The texts became shorter and less frequent. He didn't make as much of an effort. And then he canceled on him on the last minute of one date and said that he had a work conflict. But then later on texted him and was like, "Oh, I'm going out with my friends. You can come through." But it was like he felt a way about this because it felt like, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't even try to like reschedule with a bitch. Like, you just gonna hang out with your friends and then tell me I can come if I want to come. But so then he just decided he was.
I love when people tell me that.
He decided that he was over it. So he told the guy that he was like not trying to be nobody's last option. Like, he's not here to be your,
Good for you.
Oh, sorry. I thought you guys were talking. Yeah, he said he's not anybody's second choice. And he just explained all of his issues to him, and the guy like apologized for it. And so the conversation went great and everything went well, and then they ended up hooking up again, and then they decided that they were going to be exclusive with each other.
Oh,
that sounds very soon.
Red flag.
That sounds super soon.
So is this still in the 2 weeks, or has it been like...
This is after the 2 weeks. So the 2 weeks were great.
Okay.
And then after the 2 weeks, things started going downhill. But now they've decided that they're exclusive. So anyway, one night he offered to come over to his house and like bring him food after a long day of classes, blah, 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 blah. They did their thing. Went to bed. He woke up to buzzing on his nightstand. No, it wasn't. It was just the phone, a regular phone. Wait, it was. Oh, actually it was. He got out of bed to see what it was. The phone was positioned right next to mine, and as I was checking the messages on my phone, his phone also started buzzing with notifications. Also, sorry, his phone was doing it, and then the dude's phone was right next to his. Just so happened, I swear.
Sorry.
No, he says, I swear, I never meant to snoop.
Same.
But
but I couldn't help but catch the
But you did, girl.
I couldn't help but catch the little S logo. The asshole was getting woofs and messages on Scruff.
Bitch!
Damn.
I fell for the bait and ended up scrolling through his notifications. Bitch, that was bait?
damn.
And scrolling through his notifications from the past few days and saw that he was having conversations with several guys. There was one guy in particular who it seemed like he was making arrangements with, meet up with that very same night. He put that all in caps. He says that he was very upset because, they had just agreed to be exclusive. He said he barely slept that night. The following morning, he decided to do some more snooping. So he created his own Scruff account. And
Is this the plot of Acrimony? Because I think it is.
Oh my god. The Tyler Perry jumped out.
And so he saw that homeboy was offline. So what I guess that means is that he is off the grid so that other users can't locate him unless he contacts them first.
That's correct.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. I didn't know about that.
I need to do that.
When you go offline on Scruff, it just means that like it doesn't say that you're online, so technically it looks like you don't have a profile anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of signals to people to not talk to you. But anyway.
So I didn't know that. They changed the game since I've been on the apps. Anyway.
In 2011?
Yes, back in 2011.
Stop. 2011.
Anyway, it seemed like they started hanging out, but it seemed like he was again prioritizing his friends over him on top of this other shit that was going on. So he ended up having plans, and he said, "We have plans to meet again, and I plan on confronting him. But before I do, am I being irrational? Am I expecting too much attention from someone I've only been seeing for a little over a month now? I assume the exclusive talk meant we would only be seeing each other. Isn't that what exclusive means? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he shouldn't still be chatting with other guys or even have a Scruff account, whether or not he intends on meeting up with guys or not. How would you approach this conversation? I would love to hear your opinions, even if it means reading my ass for falling for the white pussy." Ooh, girl, my thing is, this is just all very fast. And I know the gays love them a quick little romance. I know, you know what? I watched Titanic too, sis, but it takes a little bit longer than 3 days. It takes a little bit longer than 3 days to meet the love of your life. And I think that after 2 weeks, being exclusive, that is very soon.
Yeah.
It's just not realistic.
It's not realistic.
Well, obviously,
It's not working for one.
However,
But they did have that
with,
discussion, so that does change things a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with Baze. I think that being exclusive after 2 weeks is insane because it's like you don't know him, you don't know if he washes ass, you don't know. If
Well, apparently he tasted it, so he knows that much at least.
Oh well, okay, well, damn. The point is, you don't know him yet. But the thing is that once you do have that talk that says I'm exclusive, that no matter how fast it is, that's supposed to mean you're exclusive. Right. So he should have respected that. Would I be surprised? No, because men ain't shit. But like, should he have done it? No. So I would. See, but it's also like I don't really know how I feel about snooping. So like
it was an accident. It happened to happen right when he looked at the phone.
He just happened. Look, he took
and
the
phone fell, and he
like
tried when he went to pick it up. He accidentally scrolled all through the notifications on accident.
Girl,
I've done that.
When you put a worm on a hook and put it in the water, do you blame the fish for biting the hook, girl? Well, it was bait, sis.
This is giving me Cardi B vibes. I went
yes. He about to put some bleach in the cereal.
Bon appetit.
No. Bon appetit.
Oh my god.
Ooh, nigga, bon appetit. I love that. Yes. But anyway, continue, y'all.
I think that's soon, but also like, I feel like with a lot of gay folks and relationships, I feel like it's so fast just because I feel like it's I don't know. I feel like we're not used to shit working out, or like it's kind of so rare that like sometimes we like jump the gun when we meet somebody and we're just like automatically like, okay, wait, hold on, this is the one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like,
options, girls.
You know, we all know that person, and maybe I was that person, who was like,
me too, girl, me too.
Who was like, oh my god, I found the one, and then like a month later, it's like, men ain't shit, fuck men, they're trash. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it's soon, but also like I get that frame of mind because I been there and I sometimes am there. So, but yeah, but if you're looking at, because when you're in it and when you're feeling it and when you're like gliding through it, it's completely different than when you're looking at it from an outside perspective.
Hindsight is 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So,
wow,
damn,
there is an update, sister girls.
Oh!
Remember, I told you he wrote this like a month ago, so he wrote into us again.
Okay.
Okay, so he threw the same information that's in the original email, though he did say that he came out like 2 years ago. So he's from a very conservative background. Like I guess like he just started, like went on his first date, had his first kiss, having sex for the first time. All happened very recently, and he's 27 years old. He said the first guy he was seeing was for 3 months. They never had the exclusive conversation, but he found out through a friend that guy was on Grindr, and then the guy promised that he confronted him. The guy promised he wasn't cheating on him, and that he was committed to him, but didn't.
Men are never exclusive.
Yeah, well,
sorry, they're gonna tell you they're exclusive where they want monogamy and they don't. So
he said he was committed, but didn't think that they had a future. Which I don't know how you say both of those things in the same sentence, but I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Look, I'm committed. I just don't see a future for
what? The lie jumped out.
The lies.
The
lies.
I'm committed, but
they broke up. So then fast forward to this situation, which was the previous email that he wrote about. He tells the story again. So he says, I confronted him about it a few days ago. Okay, so here's the update. I had the same conversation that I had with the last guy. We were exclusive, but he didn't think it was anything serious. Well, girl, honestly, like, I wouldn't either. It was a month.
Yeah,
like,
seriously, I wouldn't either.
He didn't think it was anything serious. He promised he didn't cheat on me, but there was definite emotional cheating, whether he admitted it or not. I broke up with him. Which leads me to my question. What is it with gay dating and our reliance on these apps? Why do we also feel the need to look for something better when something great is already with us? Yes, you better know your worth, sis. She said, I'm
my
great.
God.
Yeah.
Go and be great in your
You better come on,
lavender.
self-worth.
Not in your lavender.
Have you seen that video? You be great in your lavender. I dare you to scream, Jesus! Jesus! I'm going to call my father. My father's already here, Father God. Shut up.
Oh, that video was everything.
Okay, if you guys haven't seen that video, it's this black gay guy arguing with this white lady. It's hilarious.
Holding a CD player of all things. But anyway.
Yes. Do you think these apps cause our culture to more harm than good? Are we on them to hook up, to connect, or is it just for the attention from other men?
This is a discourse. Sorry,
This is a
discourse.
discourse. Am
I
I
was
being
just about to
overly
say.
sensitive?
Yeah.
Maybe my expectations. Excuse me. Maybe my expectations are too high for a dating app filled with headless torsos. What does this say about me that I fall for the same guy over and over again? Girl, a lot of the gays have been there, girl. You are not new to that.
you are
You
not
not the
alone.
only
You're
one.
not new to this, girl.
You are not alone.
Looking forward to hearing from you. You are so dumb.
Yikes.
Looking forward to hearing from you guys. Feel free to tear me a new one. Love the show and I value your opinions, whether or not they're at my expense. FYI, he listens to this podcast. He would probably also benefit from your feedback. Ooh.
Wow, that is the cherry on top. Juicy.
She is calculating.
Girl,
Oh, wait, I'm here for it.
This is what we live for. Like,
stand
yes, more
Ollie.
letters like
Yes,
this.
drag them, sis.
Bitch.
This is
I'm here for
petty.
I mean,
We're part of the
wow.
drama. This is interactive.
I love interactive drama. Yes. Yes.
I love games. I'm
I
a
love
gamer gay.
interactivity.
I love playing
Don't want no
emotional
drama,
games.
man.
Honestly,
Oh
I just
my
think
God.
that honestly, and niggas lie. And that's not your fault.
Say it.
That is not your
Say
fault.
it.
Crackers lie too, as you experienced. That's not your fault. You know, he did say that y'all was exclusive, so that was on him. But like I said before, you just don't be exclusive that quick. Like,
Yeah.
take the time to get to know each other. I know the gays love a romance and they love to get in with each other and be like, y'all can't wait to post a picture on Instagram and say you got a man and post your little
Well.
2-man emoji, the dancing emojis with the leg kicked up. Talking about y'all taking and atting the person in the damn thing and talking to each other on your Instagram stories and tagging each other, all that shit. I know y'all love that. I know y'all live for that. And that's all good and great. But you know what? That's not a relationship. A relationship is like work. Like, you guys have to get to know each other. You guys have to like work with each other to make a relationship work. It's not Instagram pictures and emojis. And so I think that's like,
Come
I feel
through,
like you're
Baze. Come through with the relationship
into it.
advice.
And
Successful
just-
relationship person.
And just because you're sexually compatible with somebody does not mean that you need to be in a relationship with them.
Say
And
it.
Just because you like
word.
somebody
That.
and just because y'all
Yes.
can hang out with each other, again, does not mean that y'all need to be in a relationship. It just means you guys have great sexual chemistry and maybe have good personal chemistry. But that doesn't mean you need to be in a relationship. So I just think you should take the time to get to know people. I don't think apps are necessarily bad, but I don't know anyone who actually enjoys being on them, to be honest.
Mhm.
And I think that, like, especially if you live in like a bigger city, I don't know where you live, but if you do live in a bigger city, I think it's probably like a little well, I don't know. I'm speaking from the perspective of New York. If you live in New York, it's actually pretty easy, I feel like, to meet people like just out in the city if you're a social person. If you're not, then yeah, apps are probably like going to be necessary for you. But I don't think that there's any one thing that anybody's doing on the apps. Everybody's doing their own thing. Like, somebody's looking for hookups, somebody's looking for relationships. Lord knows y'all tell us about it all the time. Like, I said, how many profiles have y'all seen? Like, is anybody looking for a relationship? Is anybody trying to get wiped
And
up
especially
anymore?
and especially the
Everybody's
one where
such a
they're, like,
thought and slut now.
looking for a reason to delete this app.
Oh,
I'm bored. I
Or
just
somebody
have
saying,
this on
or
board.
somebody saying deleting soon for like 2 years.
Yes, bitch. And talk about they bored, bitch. Play a game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there are plenty of video games, girl.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Come play Smash Brothers with me, girl, if you want to play a game.
girl, get you download
Wanna
Candy
play
Crush.
Tuesdays-
That'll take up some of your time. Download
Thursdays and
Duolingo.
Fridays, girl.
Learn a language. You know?
Yeah.
learn a language.
No, I mean, but this is,
Duolingo.
Get a job, bitch.
Get a job.
no, I
Own
mean,
a
this is all
business.
very
Suck a
real
dick.
because
Go ahead, Renee.
no, I was gonna say like all this advice is really real. Like, yeah, maybe just work on yourself or cultivate yourself or like enjoy the relationships that you have already. Why do you like? I just it really kind of fucks me up and it makes me sad because I've been oh my god, I'm dragging my old self the whole episode. But I've been that
your
person that's
2011
like,
self. Go ahead.
oh my
girl.
god, I'm not like dating anybody, so like my life is not fulfilling, and like I need someone right now, and I need someone to date all the time, or else like I'm lonely and sad. And like, why don't guys like? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And just like
I think
that's it's not fulfilling. Like, enjoy the people that you have around you, invest in them, and they'll actually invest in you. Like, invest in yourself, and cultivate yourself, and like you'll be happy with yourself. You won't feel lonely all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we should give John the last comment before we go into DJ's Honey Roast.
Oh, can I? I just wanted to add something.
No, go ahead.
Full disclosure, I met my now fiance through an app, which is very
talk your shit.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
very rare that happens.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
You put a ring on
like,
it.
everything that all of you guys are saying is so accurate, and Renee, especially what you were saying, like I felt the exact same way before too. I'm like, oh, I'm not dating anybody. Oh, I'm so lonely. Oh, I need a boyfriend to feel fulfilled, and I need a boyfriend to like validate me and all of that. But even when I was in relationships with people, like prior to the one that I met with my now fiance, I was fucking miserable. So that doesn't. So having a relationship does not equate to you being happy.
Right.
It doesn't always mean that. And again, to what we were saying before about like, you gotta get to know somebody first, dude. Like that is so soon to give all of yourself to this person that you literally don't even know. Like, do you know like what's his favorite color? Like, do you know if he chews with his mouth open? Like, does he leave pee in the toilet? Like, what, like, you, like, have you done those little things that, like, get on people's fucking nerves?
Does he flush his skid marks?
Exactly. Does he flush?
Like,
wow.
There's so much more to a person than
Does he like
than the idea of a person on an app and unlocked photos. Like, there's so much more to a person than that. Like, a lot of people...
that's another thing. I bet you're exactly right, and that's another thing. Is like another reason why we jump into things so quickly is because we feel like, okay, like you're the one, like, and I need one, and you'll fulfill the role. So yes, we're together, and that's it. Yeah, and this is gonna work.
You're expecting them to fill in these gaps that you haven't thought about yet because you're just so infatuated with the idea of a person and not the actual person themselves. So it's like you really have to take a step back and really like get to know the person. Like it's so much more than just like the profile pic. It's because God knows I've been there. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was just gonna echo what DJ and Renee are saying. And not only better examine the men that you're after, but also examine yourself. Like,
yes.
This sounds like a pattern that like you're jumping into things, but why is it that, you want to be in a relationship so badly?
Dick.
Okay, well, I mean but that's another thing. Like you can get dick and not be exclusive.
Yeah, dick is bountiful in these streets. It's
plentiful
everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I would just like spend time with yourself because I used to be a serial dater.
Yes, me too. That was me.
And I used to be in relationships. So this is the longest I've been single right now, and I am enjoying my time by myself and spending time like with my friends. And so yeah, I would see. You would have to be happy with yourself before you can bring in someone else to be happy with you. Do you know what I mean?
And you can be like a work in progress and working on liking yourself and being in a relationship with somebody as well. Because that person
actually make sure you're valuing yourself.
Yeah, you have to value yourself first because that person could also, help you see things about yourself that you didn't see before that are actually really wonderful.
Right.
So
they can tell you to flush your skid marks,
Yeah.
God damn it.
Anyway,
yeah, I mean, I'm still definitely working on myself and my self-love. That goes into what Renee has always
had
an issue with. Yeah, and that goes into what Renee's always saying, like that whole like RuPaul thing, where is how the hell you gonna love somebody else if you can't love yourself or whatever the hell that bitch talking about. That's not valid. You can you can still be working on yourself and be in a relationship. Sorry, we need to wrap up. So
no, sorry, we just hit 2 hours. So I just wanted to before we end, I know DJ, you said you wanted to do a quick honey roast. So if you want to
I'm gonna save you for last because we kind of had a mini one on my show. Okay. But I just want to say like in general that you guys are part, like all of y'all, I should say, excuse me. Y'all are part of my self-care routine every week. Like every Tuesday is my favorite day. of the week. Like, I have a long commute to work. Like, it's like 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on traffic. So your show gets me going to, like, have to, like, start my day and it'd be really, really awesome. So I thank you guys so much for that, because my job gives me so much anxiety. But just hearing y'all, like, tackle and talk about everything and all that stuff really just, like, lifts my spirits every week. So thank you guys so much for doing what you're doing. I think the show is super important and I love it. Thank you guys so much for just being you and being here. So thank you for that.
DJ.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, of course.
And thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm like super geeked up to be here. Like, I was talking to my fiance. I'm like, I'm gonna be in the second room, like recording with the trashbags today. So, like, don't come in here.
Hi, Brandon.
And John, this is a message for you. My fiance is Filipino and Puerto Rican, and he feels so seen by you being on the show. So, like, he really appreciates you and all of that.
Shout out, fiance. Thank you.
Like, Baze, you're like body goals for me at some point. I don't know if that's ever gonna happen for me because I like eating cake too much, but like, you're amazing and like you're like a style icon. I love it.
Oh, thank
and, like,
you.
You can
incredible.
still be
Thank you
thoughty
so much.
DJ.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're helping me lean more into like being a thought, even though I'm like,
Yes,
About
be a
to
thought
married,
regardless,
but, like,
bitch.
Yeah, be a thought. Yes.
but and then like Renee, you always get me thinking about like society and like and, like anti-capitalism.
Society.
But I think it's really important to examine that and to really think about that and what you put your time and your money and all of that stuff into. So it
Not
really helps
money.
me examine that and think about that every day. And Rakeem, you're like a little brother to me. Like, we're like kindred spirits. Like, being a gay black nerd, not really having people that got what you liked and what you did, and being called like, you're not black enough because you like anime and that's for white people and video games are for nerds and this and that. So like, you are amazing and I love you to pieces.
Thank
and you're
you.
so talented and I hope we get to do more stuff together.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I'm
And
gonna cry.
I know we're all. Oh my God.
Me too.
Bitch, me too.
Bitch, me too.
But no, so thank you so much for coming on,
Thank
and we
you,
really
DJ.
appreciate it. And
Of
I know
course.
it's like been a while, but it finally happened.
It's all good.
And-
It was well worth the wait.
It's been a long time coming.
Okay, babe, shut up.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's gonna conclude this episode of POC. I just want to say a quick thank you to.
Wow, here we go. Here we go.
I just want to say a quick thank you to Gay Letter Magazine, because I got to shoot their cover of the May issue with my friend Dexter Mayfield, who is a queer plus size black dancer, and like. Oh, like, I wanted to talk about it for so long, but I have to shut the fuck up. Like, there's other stuff, but I can't talk about it yet. But, so I just want to say thank you so much for that. And, again, you can find the show on podcast, on iTunes at POC. Please rate and subscribe and leave comments.
Yes. More comments, please.
Yes. Yes, the comments are great because it generates traffic and it makes iTunes, like, promote us more, which is really good. Send your emails and honey roasts to podcastofcolor@gmail.com. And
Don't forget to check out Magical Boys.
oh, thank you. Yeah, please check out Magical Boys with.
Please do.
check out- yeah, no, for real. Listen to Magical Boys with Ruben and DJ. I listen to it every week when it comes out, and they're really fucking amazing. And I've been on the show twice, and we have 2 episodes there. So we talk about nerd shit, and they talk about nerd shit, and it's really amazing, and they're really funny, and like Ruben likes to say, they're really fucky.
Thank you.
So check them out, and I guess with that, we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
All right.
This podcast is executively produced by Aaliyah J. Daniels, LaShawn McGee, Damian Pelliccioni, Christopher Rodriguez, John Kagandahan, Hakeem Cunningham, Baze White, and Renee Hernandez.